What's up, everybody? Jake's Garage here. So, it's time to begin. You'll see that the hood is missing. I got a little ahead of myself. I told myself that I was going to make sure I started the video and I didn't skip anything and all that, blah, blah, blah. And then I forgot to start the video. So the hood's off. That wasn't a big deal. I'm actually more concerned about getting it back on. Definitely going to be a two-person job to get it back on. This was pretty easy. I just kind of scooted it forward, and then I was able to get my arms around it and lift it up, and it's not very heavy. So my plan for today, I don't really have a plan. I know that all of this has to get taken apart somehow, to some degree. I have no idea where I'm going to hook the chains onto to lift this out. I have no plan for that. I have no plan for to what extent I need to take this apart. I know I got to take the drive shaft out, and the transfer case has got to come down. I'd like to drain the transmission a little bit, maybe, so I'm not leaking tranny fluid everywhere when I'm lifting up. So today is pretty much going to be me just unplugging things and moving things around and kind of prepping for the pool. The pool's not going to happen today, and I will have another video in a little while where I kind of show you the engine, show you the harness, because I'm in various stages. The engine's ready. I'm about to bolt the conversion mounts on, and it's pretty much ready. I pulled the intake and all the accessories on the front except for the water pump to make it easier to go in. The harness is almost ready. I just have to tape it back up and kind of figure out which wires I'm going to end up hooking up to power and all that. And I'm not actually going to finish that along with the accelerator pedal wiring and the stuff that has to go in the cab. I'm not going to actually finish that till I get it in, because I don't know where it's going into the cab. I don't know where the harness is going to lay. I don't know where the ECM is going to mount. So what I figured I would do is I would get the engine in, lay the harness in, plug it all in, then figure out how much I need to extend the wires to go inside and kind of do it all at once. I just thought maybe it would come out a little bit nicer. That way I don't short myself, and B, I don't make it too long. So that's that. I'm not going to do a lot more talking. I don't even know if I'm going to record a lot of this. You guys don't need to see me take apart all this stuff. There's videos online of guys taking stuff apart. This is more just come along for the ride. I'll start the video here and there, kind of update what I've taken apart. There's not even that much to see, to be completely honest with you. I mean, it's just a square body Chevy engine bay, so there's not a lot in there, and the you know, I'm not sure what I'm going to show. I have to drain the coolant too, which I hate. Those of you that have watched my other videos, you know I hate coolant. Got to get all this fan shroud stuff out, which I don't even know how to do. How do you get this fan shroud? Is it two-piece? Oh, it's two-piece. No, it's stapled together. So I don't even know. We'll figure it out. I'm just going to wing it. All right, update. AC is unplugged. It was already discharged, so nothing came out. Bunch of plugs are undone. Injector harness part is off. I got some wires here I think I have to keep. This one went to the alternator. Yeah, alternator. I think these I have to keep. I'm not sure. These might go to the bulkhead connector. So we're gonna just keep an eye on these, I guess. Another one I have to keep. I believe this is the air conditioning. Yeah, this is the air conditioning harness. I'll keep that, because I should be able to use that to functionally operate my doohickey on the new motor. I got the shroud loose. There's bolts down at the bottom. I thought it was just going to lift out, and good thing I didn't keep yanking on it. So I'm going to go loosen them up. I got a new light too. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this kind of light. This is from Harbor Freight. It wasn't very expensive, but man, is it nice. It's a nice light. It's very bright, and the best part about it is it's got a heck of a magnet on it, and you can really kind of do whatever you want with this. And that magnet is darn strong, so you can kind of stick it wherever you want and it stays. It's also got 2 levels, and it's got a light in the front too for kind of pinpoint and stuff. But anyway, go check it out. It's like 40 bucks. So I'm gonna go down and loosen the bolts, and when I come back up, hopefully the shroud comes right out. We'll see what else stops it from coming out now. I didn't take the hose off, but that's okay. Just make it do what we want. There we go. I don't want to bang my radiator up too much because I'm not sure if I'm replacing it or not. It should work. There we go. Out. Anyway, that's it. That's where I'm at. I'll pick you up in a minute. That's interesting. Piece of toe strap or something. That is a heavy. What's up, everybody? So I'm done for the day. Can't do any more. This thing's kicking my butt. I tell you, I tried to peel the harness out. I don't even understand. I'll show you in a second, but I was explaining to my wife. I said, I don't understand how I'm putting in a technologically advanced setup, and it's so much more simple. This old wiring and old stuff is awful. It's awful, and I know why. It's because they put it all together and then dropped the body on top. They didn't care about pulling this stuff out after it was all together. So, whatever. So, here's where we're at. I have most of the wire, and I just actually unclipped some of the transmission stuff under here. Yep, there you go. There's the trans plug. Here is the oil pressure switch, which is looking just beautiful. This is the NOx or O2 sensor. That's one of the ignition modules. So I think the harness, yeah, the harness is free now. This just goes over to the bulkhead. This goes inside for the ECM, and all this is loose. So wiring wise, I'm done. I got the wiring out. This wiring is so crazy. There's engine, there's power, there's all kinds of stuff, and it all runs down to that bulkhead connector, and I'm gonna have to fish through that, but it'll be easier to fish through when I can actually get in here and sit. So I got, as you can see, the radiator's out. I have a mess of trans cooler lines. I'm gonna have to redo that. They're yeah, there's an external cooler here that I'm assuming an owner put on, or I don't know, somebody put on. It looks aftermarket, but who knows? It came with a towing package, so maybe GM put them on. I don't know. This is the engine oil cooler, which I got to research and see exactly what to do about that. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but there's these big lines right here that run all the way back. I don't know, back there somewhere underneath where the oil filter is. So I don't exactly know what to do about them. If I can find an easy way to disconnect them, but they're so hard, I don't think I'm going to be able to like pull them through and make good use or get them out of the way easily. We'll see. What else did I do? Everything over there, disconnected the spark plug wires. I pulled the, you're not going to be able to see much, and my light just died, but you'll see drive shaft is drooped. I pulled the starter because the starter, I couldn't easily get to the wires on the back of the starter. I just couldn't get in there. I'm sure if I had some patience and I just found the right sockets, I would have been fine, but I just dropped the starter. Anyway, the thing weighs like 700 pounds, so there's a little bit of extra weight off of this mess. I don't think I'm pulling anything off the engine, anything else. I'm leaving all the accessories on. We'll see what happens. I got the shift linkage disconnected at the trans. I really don't know much about that either, but I think I'm going to disconnect it from the column area up here and just remove the whole thing. I'm going to clean it up and, you know, I don't know if I can use it. I might have to get one of those low car shifter things. I'm not sure what I have to do there, to be honest with you. One thing I didn't do, I should have done, I didn't roll the window up. I'm kind of hating my guts right now for not rolling the window up. I mean, it's inside by half of a rear door, but I'm not going to really be able to roll that back up till I get the engine out of there and can make sense of all these power wires. I don't want to just hook certainly don't want to just hook the negative of the battery back up, because there's positives floating all over the place. So I'll have to figure out what to tie together to get my window to function again. So that's where we're at. And I told you I'd show you some of the LS stuff. So it's basically stripped down right now. No accessory bracket, no intake. I was trying to figure out some of the AC stuff. I do have to have that bracket on before I put the motor mounts on. It says that in the instructions. The bummer is that there's a factory ground right there, this guy, and I can get it in there with that bracket in place, but it's really hard. So what I might do is just use another one of the bolts for the ground. I got to replace the knock sensors because I don't know how hard they're going to be to get to once it's in there. I got to put the motor mounts on. I got to put I think I'm just going to put the headers on. I think you have to have them on to install. I'm not 100% sure. But then this is ready to go. That's ready to go in. What else? Let's see, harness. You can see my harness. I have the X1 and X2. They're all depinned. Some of the wires, because I didn't want to cut this. This was a brand new factory GM 2012 Tahoe harness, so I didn't want to cut the whole loom apart and then have to reloom it, because they do some really nice loom work here with this friction tape, abrasive tape, and then some heat shielding tape. I just didn't want to do that, so I only peeled back what I needed to. And some of these circuits are depinned from the X1, X2, and then they're also depinned at the connector, and then the wires are folded into the loom. And I kind of made notes of where everything was. And the nice thing about that is if I ever have to add a circuit, I can come in here and go, well, boom, this was the evap purge solenoid wire. I can plug that back into one of the ECM connectors. I know exactly where it is. I can pull it out and hook something else to it. I don't have to fish wires or run extra wires. Just an idea I had. Some of this stuff is cut. It's no longer needed. And it's dead on both ends. So it's getting wrapped up in the harness. I have a section of wires here that have to go into the cab. And I have a section of wires here that most of these will be in the engine bay. These are my power wires, my starter wire, my ground wire. This ground wire was a funky one. It actually only goes directly to this little guy right here. So what I'm going to do is in here, somewhere in this mess, is my transmission ground wire. Oh, right here. My transmission ground wire. And I'm just going to tie these two together. I'm just going to put those two together, and then that ground will then be for the transmission, the TCM. I also added wires in to the TCM for tap up, tap down support, and also the brake input, which the Tahoe did not have. And I think it's because the Tahoe probably had that variable brake resistor thingy, brake force, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And how I added these in, I feel was pretty slick. So on the back of this harness, back by the head, was the plug for the active fuel management. Well, the 2012 L96 doesn't have active fuel management. So what I did is I took those wires that were sticking up for active fuel management and I cut the plug off, and I picked two wires that matched my the wires that I was putting into this. So I went ahead and put the wire in, cut some slits along, and used here's some of it. I used just a piece of wire to fish what I could all the way down to that AFM plug. Then I soldered the two wires together, and boom, I had wires out down here at the PCM side where I needed them. So I kind of cheated the system. I didn't run new wires. I used wires that I depinned from the ECM and wires that was further down the harness to make like a jumper lead. I think that should work fine. So that's the harness update. So I got the coolant drained. The coolant is all drained. So tomorrow what I'm going to do is, I think tomorrow we'll see, depending on what happens. I'm probably going to drain the transfer case fluid. I'm going to try to drain some of the, I might drain the oil and the trans fluid, because all that stuff adds to weight and just making this harder to maneuver around. And the other challenge I have is, here's a lift point in the front, but I do not have a lift point in the back. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to lift off of. Usually there's another loop back here, and they don't have one, probably because they jammed all this other crap back here. So we'll see what I can figure out there. I might just run a short chain down around the exhaust manifold. I am trying to sell this engine and transmission, but you know, at the end of the day, I need to get it out. So if I dent the valve cover or scratch the valve cover, it is what it is. So that's where I'm at, and I got a lot of work ahead of me, but we're getting there. I got this thing a couple days. The engine will be out at most, a couple days. So a bunch of stuff to figure out, a few things left to buy. I don't know if I'm switching the battery over to here like some people do. Kind of want to, so I can run a factory application airbox, like a Volant or something like that. But I have my headlight harness panel over here too, so that's going to be an issue. I need to figure out if I'm keeping this evap canister, this charcoal canister. There might be a way that I can use that to at least help with some fume handling. Got to figure out what I'm doing for AC lines, things like that, because I will be running AC. Yeah, so that's that. That's where we're at, and I hope it keeps going smooth here. I have some mess to clean up, but we will see what happens. Anyway, that's it for this video. That's it for this update. We'll keep it going. Thanks for watching.